candlestick confirmations around these areas, price coming back to retest these areas. Okay, then we could have the proper bearishness all the way to our first level, which is back to our 3000 area. Then we can go 3000 areas, which is the first level, and the 3600 drop all the way to the downside. So hey peeps, at my FX right here, the prophetic analyst. Welcome back to our weekly market forecast for the week of the 31st to the 4th of April. Okay, so basically this is the last, we just have one trading day for March and a new trading week and month for April. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive into our screens. Okay, so just like you saw on the previous week on Xauusd, which is gold, and you guys saw when I made mention of this chart pattern, this head, this left shoulder, this head, and the right shoulder right about there, and it's still very much there, just like you guys can see. And I told you guys that price, we should be looking for price to give us more like a buy to sell scenarios, which is what we later have on Monday, which was a trade that in which we had sent out on the free Telegram community. So if you are not on a free Telegram community, do well to click on the link on the description below to join. Okay, and a lot of people also made money from this process on our trade call. Just like I always say, it's very important to always look at our YouTube thumbnail, because if you look deep into our YouTube thumbnail, you see that this chart pattern, okay, or this screen, right, this screen was what I had used for as our thumbnail for last week, which I'm still going to attach it somewhere at the downside here of this video. Okay, the down left hand corner, so that you can see that is very necessary. You always look deep into our thumbnails and know, so not just sending the thumbnails alone as signals of my kind of setups I'm looking forward for the week. So just gold alone had made me good money for the week already, even before Monday, okay, or even before Tuesday to Friday. All right, so we made good money already. You can see that nice sniper entry which we had there, and price went all the way to 100% retracement level, which we smashed take profits right about there of almost a 1:3. okay, so that was a very good trading which we took, and I'm happy I could make you guys money for yourself. So moving forward for the coming weeks, okay, let's look at how the weekly time frame actually closed, because it's very important to know how the weekly time frame actually closed for the previous week. So looking at the weekly time frame here, things looks very much bullish. Okay, after price had fulfilled the head and shoulders. That's why I always say, when you're trading chart patterns, is very important, or trading as a whole is very important, you always take a profit at the 100% retracement level. Because imagine we did not take our profit at the 100% retracement level, this you would have been burnt in these pullbacks. Okay, so that was how we made this money, and when price thereafter came all the way around here, and we had bullishness since then. Okay, so price is very much bullish right now until price shows us otherwise. Okay, so to have a good entries, we go all the way to our hourly time frame. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here on the hourly time frame is to mark the upsides, which is our resistance and our support, like so. All right, so because price currently is actually in a range. Okay, so we are going to I'm going to give you guys a bullish and bearish scenarios of things. Okay, so if price clears these highs, okay, if price clears these highs and creates a new higher high, maybe go to your your 15 minutes or your hourly time frame retest, and you go for your 1:2 or 1:3 or more. Okay, all the way to the upsides, and same thing to the downsides. Okay, like I said, I'll be giving bullish and bearish scenarios. If price breaks here, retest, and a push continuations to back to these zones over 3000, all right, 3000 areas to the downside. So either which way,
mark it out on your phone or your trading device. So
box this up. I'm going to use a box. So what does this mean? For the bullish scenarios, if price is able to break this box, okay, retest then you can look for your 1 hour, your 15 minutes retest. Then you can go for your first level targets, which is 100% retracement level, which is this 87k. Then we can go as deep as the 89k and the actual trend. Okay, so we may most likely be seeing a buy to sell scenarios for the coming week, guys. A buy to sell scenarios for the coming week.
So for BTC, you guys can see how we predicted BTC into precision. Okay, price was somewhere around here on the downside, and I told you guys price is basically ranging, and hence why I had to box it up like that box in which you guys can see right about there. And we were looking for price to break out retest, which you can clearly see that break out retest out of that zones like so. And since thereafter, price has been very much bullish on BTC, and price also went to our first target, which was 100% retracement level, and our second target, which was the 89k. Okay, before we thereafter had the bearishness, in which, like I said, we are in a buy to sell scenarios, because I saw a bullish retracement or a bullish pullback before the bearishness continuations. Okay, so right about now we took this trade. Was it on Friday? I think on Friday. Yeah, so we have been holding all the way to Sunday. So, and this was, price has given us a nice 1:8 thereabouts. Okay, and this black line around here is our first TP, which I've taken out my 90% of my trades, and I've moved stops to break even. All right, so we're still very much on this trade, but just running with my 90% on the trade, because the trade has gotten to my first TP, which is this black line, which is almost a 1:2 right about there. So let's go to our hourly time frame to see how we can get the best possible entries for the coming weeks. Okay, so if you're watching this right about whenever you're watching it, all right, so you should be looking for price to do this for us. All right, so I'm gonna take this out. So what we should be looking for is price to either retrace from this particular zone in which it is, come back to 100% retracement level, which is the 81k, or give us a more deeper drops to our 77k right about so. Okay, but let's say price alters this area and doesn't react the bearishness from that area. A more perfect scenarios or perfect zones is almost back to these areas like so. So we could have price come back, give us a buy to sell to our 86k, then drops to our 81k. Then we could be seeing bearishness back to our 77k like so. So always mark out these levels on your phone or your trading device. Up next is Euro USD. For last week was a very nice one. We were able to take this nice bearishness on Monday. Like I said, we took a lot of trade. Like I told you guys the previous week that the coming week, okay, which was last week, would be a very good week for us, trading week for us, looking at how price is moving or would be moving thereafter. Okay, so we had this nice 1:2 right about here, with signals were also being sent. Okay, so you're able to take that drops to the downside, but the break and retest we were looking for, we had a little fake out here, which I saw my 3 candle strikes. I won't lie, I saw my 3 candle strikes here. There's a entry strategy in which I call my 3 candle strikes. I saw my 3 candle strikes here, and I had my entries right about there. My targets were about 1:3 all the way down here, but price, as you can see, has taken us out of that trade. But I'm still looking for a re-entry, but I think I'll be patient enough. I'll most likely be patient enough for price to still clear this purple area, which is the 1.8104 area to the downside. Then we could be targeting our first levels. Remember, 100% retracement levels are always important. Okay, 1.080, then we could go as deep as a 1.060, then as deep as 1.051. okay, but like I said, we trade from one zones to the other, so we are still very much bearish on these trades, right? The only reasons that we should be, or we could be looking for bullishness, is if price breaks out of these highs. Okay, if price breaks out of these highs, a retest, then we can go back to our 1.0935. okay, back to the upsides. But if you may ask me, I'm still very much bearish until price shows us otherwise. Okay, so that's it for Euro USD, and up next is GBP USD.
That price may come back to this area, right, for a higher time frame, creating like a new lower high, right? You know, price moves in a way. This is a lower high, then push continuations to our 1.26.
So GBP USD was, you can see how we predicted GBP USD into precision, and GBP USD gave us a very nice perfect trade call. As you can see, we wanted price to come back to these zones of the 1.2296 area before a drop to our 1.2866 area, which clearly you can see that happened into precision. Signals were also being sent, which I'm going to add it somewhere around in this video. And yeah, so like I said, GBP USD, gold, and some few other JPY pairs were like the best of trades in which I took last week, and it made us a lot of money, and a lot of you also were able to participate and make money for yourself through our signals and our YouTube trade calls. Okay, so that's the essence of always watching our videos all the way to the end, so that you won't miss the informations in which we give out for free on these YouTube calls. Okay, so moving forward, we also have some price nice entries right about here, and I'm currently here on this trades, okay, which I also called with my mentees, and we are going all the way to our these zones, which is 100% retracement level, which is our 1.28588 area. So if you can take this trades right about now, okay, and you can have about 30 pips stops, that's fine. But if you want to enter on a more conservative method, okay, a more conservative method is waiting for price to create a new lower low, okay, breaking out of this support right about here. All right, these areas of interest that we can see, this minor area of interest, okay, then a pullback into that zones, and maybe a 15-minute or a 1-hour candle confirmations. Then you can go to these phase zones of our 1.2860, or you can ride the trade all the way to our 1.2797 area. Okay, so that's it for GBP USD. I won't be giving bullishness until price clears these highs. Then I would be giving you guys updates on the Telegram community. So if you are not on our Telegram community, click on the link on the description to join our free Telegram community. So that's it for GBP USD. Up next is the DXY. For the DXY, you can see the DXY has been more like in a range for about the whole of March. So DXY has been ranging until we had this breakout last week, which I also predicted it into precision, which you guys can see and before. Okay, so we wanted price to break here, retest, and push continuations to our 105. okay, but price did not get to our 105. Price stopped all about 104 to the upsides, but we are still very much confident about price bullish continuations because of our chart patterns. Okay, so we are going to pull this out, and we are still very much bullish on this. So I'll do this. So what we'll still be looking for this week won't be different from what I've been looking for from the previous weeks. Bullish continuations, okay, except we see price shows us something otherwise. Okay, then like price clearing these zones of the 10357 to the downsides, then we can say that the trend has changed. Okay, if this happens, then we should be looking for price to go to 102 to the downsides. Okay, but for now I'm still very much bullish on this because I'm hoping price should or could fill in all of these imbalances to the upsides, at least to 105. okay, 105 is fair enough for price to get there before bearish continuations, because mind you, what we are actually trading right about now is the pullbacks. Okay, the actual trend is actually bearish. Okay, so this bullishness we are looking for is actually a meantime pullbacks. Okay, so that will be it on the DXY. Up next is USDJPY.
Okay, so for me, if price opens for next week, all what you just have to do is can just put your entries there, put your stops slightly below that low, and target these levels of our 151 area. Okay, which is almost a very nice 1:3 right about there. Okay, very nice 1:3 trade, guys. So don't mix this trade for anything.
So welcome back. Hope you can see how we predicted USDJPY into precision. Just like I said last week, that these areas is the base areas for entries of USDJPY all the way to the upsides. And just like you guys can see, the USDJPY smash, we had a nice 1:3 right about there. TP was being smashed neatly, and that's why it's very important you always follow our weekly market forecast and our analysis, so you could make money for yourself. So this was predicted into precisions, and even we had more entry possibilities of price continuations to the upside even from here. If you are my mentees, this is, I think, one of the courses of one of the, I think, the sixth course in which we handled on about entries and exit confirmations. Okay, right about here. So price still came back. So if let's say you missed this on Monday, most likely you would have been able to take this second bullishness. That's if you are my mentee, or you know what we know, or we trade as we do, you would have still had a nice 1:2 right about here to the upside. So okay, which my mentees took advantage of that. Okay, so for looking at the current market structure, okay, we trade what we see and not what we think. Okay, so I'm going to mark out the zone like so. I'm going to mark out my zones like so. So what we could be having is price coming back to these areas and coming back to this 100% retracement level. Then we could have bullish continuations to our 152.21, okay, to the upside. And still on the bullish scenarios, let's say you miss all of this, this is also a very perfect set of entries. Okay, price to break, create a new higher than this, and push continuations to our 152 to the upside. Okay, let's say this area fails, we could also be looking for which, but this is gonna take a little bit of time, guys. Okay, this is gonna take a little bit of time. Okay, we can look for price to break the 148 and come back for a retest here for your 15 minutes, your 1 hour entries, and you can go to your 146 to the downside. So do well to mark these levels on your phone, your trading device, and that'll be it for USDJPY. Up next is GBPJPY,
which I've marked out. So I'll be looking for price to come into that zones. Okay, then go for our first level, our 1.93. Then we can go back to our 1.94, which is our green bar, all the way to the upside there. So I'm still very much bullish on GBPJPY until price shows me otherwise. Okay, you can also take these trades, but I would say it's better you wait for some bullish sentiment on the 1 hour or the 4 hour time frame. Then you can go all the way to the upside.
Just like I said, and as you guys can see, GBPJPY also predicted into precision. And also, if you guys are very big on correlations like myself, you understand that USDJPY and GBPJPY, they work hand in hand. Okay, so apparently if you're having a bullish scenarios on GBPJPY, you definitely be having same bullish scenarios on USDJPY. Okay, so if you don't know this, that is a cheat code in which I've given out to you guys all for free. So we also had a very nice 1:3 right about here. Like I told you guys, this was also a signal that was being sent from last week. I told you guys that we are looking for, I had to mark a very minor zone here, which is like, all right, like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes zones. Okay, minor zones, which I did mark here, and we were looking for price to go back to our 1.94 area, which we clearly had that bullishness to the upside. So we have been very much bullish since then on GDP JPY predicted into precision. So for the coming weeks, how can we make the best possible out of this trade? So let's look at how the weekly time frame actually closed. Okay, looking at the weekly time frame, we can see price is giving us an alarming bullish push to the upside. So it would only make sense we still look for bullish continuations is until price shows us otherwise. Okay, so for bullish continuations, we could have price continuing from bullishness all the way back, all the way to the upsides from here. Then we should be looking at our next zones, which is quite far, over 400 pips to the upside. All right, very much our achievable. Okay, so if you have our entry setups, or you can use your own entry setups, whatever strategy in which you are using in trading, okay, you can use it to have trade entries right about from these zones to the upsides. Okay, or you could even have a more deeper retracement to these zones, then a bullish continuations back to our 194 areas to the upsides. But in the case that price clears these zones over 192, then we should know that the trend has changed. Okay, so that will be it for GDP JPY. The last but not the least, AUD USD. So AUD USD, I haven't analyzed AUD on YouTube for the longest of time, for some weeks now, on AUD USD, because price has been more like in a range. So I've just been watching it personally from my own sides and seeing what price would do. So AUD USD looks good for the coming weeks. I just believe all this price, especially for the pace that has been ranging, even including the DXY, price is doing this in anticipation of NFP on Friday for this week, which is I think on the 4th of this week. So hence why price is just ranging, so that we could most likely have a massive push to either directions on Friday. But unfortunately, NFP for the past, since this year, hasn't been so volatile for this year. Okay, so we can't make a lot of money of NFP or most of the fundamentals since Mr. Trump was being inaugurated as president. Okay, so hopefully price would bounce back this coming weeks when price on this coming NFP, so we could have a usual volatility like we normally do. Okay, so moving forward on AUD USD, so it's more like in a range. So I'll give you guys two-way scenarios, right? But I would be favoring the downside. Okay, so this is a very nice A setups. Okay, that's if price can clear this support, create a new lower low, then come back to retest here, creating a new lower high, and price coming back to the downside all the way to, so we should be looking for bearishness to our 0.618 areas to the downside. And let's say price continues bullish. Okay, we would be only interested if price is able to break these highs, retest here, go for your 15 minutes or your 1 hour entries, and we should be looking forward for price to go to a 1.063 all the way to the upside. So do well to mark out these levels, these zones on your phone, your trading device. And that will be it for this week, guys. And do well to drop on the comment section. If you have not liked, smash the subscribe button, like, share, and always drop a comment on the comment section. Let's know how well trading analysis has been helpful to you on your trading, or more like drop some fire emojis there on the comment section for us, and let us know any forex educational videos you would love us to make. Okay, we don't just create only weekly videos, but we can also help creating forex educational videos about topics bothering you on your forex trading. Or also you could join our free telegram community. I always host free live sessions, maybe once or twice in a week, every week, so you can also join the live sessions to ask your questions concerning your forex journey. So that'll be it for this week, guys. Always remember to plan your trades and trade your plan. And once again, a happy new month and see in advance, and see you guys in the inner circle or next week. Cheers.